Is this thing on? Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Saturday's edition of the dceu Daily. Oh boy, what a week. Gotham PD was shelved by WB. And then Toby Emmerich was bragging that the success of the Batman was all down to him. And then he went missing. And then they announced via the media that Flash and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will be delayed to 2023. You have seen my reaction. You have seen how frustrated I've been. Well, today we have some clarity. We actually have some exciting news to give you because DC Comics' Twitter account changed their header to this. Take a look at this. I don't know if you can see that properly if I hold it like that. This is a bad camera, isn't it? But anyway, that's Henry Cavill's Superman, and that's Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. Of course, this is very exciting news, but why have they done this? Now, some people are assuming and insinuating that this means the Snyderverse is going to be restored. I don't think that's the reason they've put those two in their new official header. I believe it's because Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Henry Cavill's Superman are both going to be in the Shazam Fury of the Gods movie, the Shazam sequel. Now, I've spoken about this before. I think it was last year there was a rumor somewhere that Cavill would be in the Shazam sequel, and then director David F. Sandberg told people to calm down about it. He didn't want to put bad luck on the situation because last time they were going to have Cavill in the first Shazam, and scheduling got in the way of that. They had a body double. We remember that. So he didn't want people to get too excited about it. But the way he was talking, it sounded like it was going to happen this time. Now, people who went to see test screenings for Shazam Fury of the Gods said that Diana turns up at the end of the movie. And I think what's going to happen with Diana, she's going to turn up, and I keep on forgetting the actress's name, and I do follow her and share some banter with her, but yeah, there's meant to be three sisters, right? Goddesses that are the villains of Shazam. There's a younger one who I think is not as evil as they are. And in the end, I think that Diana, Wonder Woman, comes and makes her like apprentice. I think there's a character like this in the comics. And again, I haven't come prepared. I don't remember her name, but I'm sure someone in the comments can let me know who she is. But that's what I think is going to happen. And I do think Henry Cavill's Superman is going to be in Shazam. And I think you'll probably see him maybe for at least 10 minutes of screen time, maybe more. For me personally, Cavill's Superman being in any DCEU live action media in the year of 2022, a year when the Flash movie, my most anticipated movie of 2022, has been delayed, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has been delayed, I can only see this as a win. You know, when you're sitting on Twitter last night and they break the news that Sean Levi, right, is directing Deadpool 3 and all the MCU shields are coming out and you can't avoid it, it's very depressing for a hardcore DC live action fan like me to take, especially on a week like this. They get all the good news, we get all the bad news, but this, my friends, is an absolute win, and I'm very positive that Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot will be in the Shazam movie. Now, will Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Henry Cavill's Superman share a scene together? I hope so, because I believe this could be a start of something interesting between Wonder Woman and Superman. Maybe they're going to go for the romance thing. Who knows? Now, Lois Lane fans won't be happy about this, and I'm not sure if we'll ever see Amy Adams in a DCEU movie. A couple of years ago, she said basically she was done with it. And then she had to correct what she said. So I don't know about that. But yeah, I'm very confident that Henry Cavill's Superman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman will be in Shazam Fury of the Gods. Now, in the comics and in animation, Superman and Shazam share a great history. He's kind of like a mentor to Billy Batson in the comics. So this is going to be great. I am now a little bit more calmer about the delays, right? Because we're getting this, and I believe that we are, I think this is a very exciting development. And they haven't done this for no reason. So let's just hold it up properly so you can see it. Yeah, they haven't done this because there's no actors behind them. They're like kind of artwork behind them. So that's very interesting. So it could also point that Henry and Gal's characters could be the future of this franchise. There's clearly many reasons why they've delayed The Flash and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But I think considering they're ready to put out Shazam and Black Adam, that would tell you they're more confident about these movies. Shazam has a very friendly type of family tone, MCU type tone, the kind of tone that can bring, you know, mainstream audiences around the Christmas period to cinemas as well. So my disappointment is waning, but I stand by everything I've said, and I am very suspicious that Andy Muschietti hasn't come out and commented about the Flash delays. Hopefully he's still in a job, but who knows? You know, you can never discount anything and say, oh, that wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen in this industry. So that's one of the updates that I've got for you today, that Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Superman will be in Shazam, Fury of the Gods. So what kind of film is Shazam, Fury of the Gods? Well, I think they're going to take this film on a bit. I think that David F. Sandberg has commented this is a slightly darker picture, but still funny. It's still got that family kind of feel where you can take the kids with you, which is great. But I think because it's got goddesses in it, and basically Wonder Woman is also a god, right? And so it's very important they involve her in some point. Apparently Themyscira is name dropped in this movie as well. I'm assuming the two goddesses do mention Themyscira. So we are going forward with this more interconnected DCEU. But because we're having a merger, and, you know, it's just very difficult to ascertain what the future is. It's very difficult to ascertain if Tony Emmerich and the people at Warner Brothers Pictures get to keep their jobs. I don't expect Zaslav to walk in and sack everyone. It's going to take time to see what he's going to do. And I think, you know, the end of this year is going to be very important. It will be very important for Warner Brothers Pictures to get a win with Black Adam and Shazam. And of course, one of the reasons for the delays could be what's going to be a win for us this year. And clearly, they were worried about The Flash. And because The Flash moved, other movies had to move. Now, this is, of course, my concern. And I spoke about originally Aquaman coming after The Flash originally. Well, take a think about this. Originally, Shazam, Fury of the Gods was going to come after the Flash movie. So, if that's the case, that would mean, again, just like what I was saying about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, that there's very little to point to a multiverse kind of changing, a rebooting of the universe. Or maybe it is. Maybe they can still reference that, but we don't see it yet. I don't know how that works, right? But maybe it can be set in a post-Flashpoint environment. I don't know. But it would point to, more logically, that Shazam Fury of the Gods doesn't really reference Flashpoint. That's the only way, right, that they can put it before the Flash now. Because as I say, originally it was coming after Flash. So how does this work? Are they going to go back and make some changes to Shazam? I don't know. I mean, they don't have much time now, but anything's possible. You could still do reshoots now. They delayed Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for 2 months, and they did some reshoots, fake claiming it was for cameos, but who knows what was really going on there. And so you never can tell, but it's very curious to me that this film is now on before the Flash movie, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Right, now, and we've gone from the positive, now I want to talk about Zaslav, Discovery, and AT&T. Zaslav and Discovery are very interesting to me, but let's talk about AT&T and their leadership of Warner Brothers, the whole Warner company, right? They have made so many cuts to DC Comics. They have gutted DC Comics. Now, I'm not saying the content of DC Comics hasn't been good, because I think when I talk to my friends who read comics religiously, a lot of them have been excited about some of the graphic novels. I don't think it's about the quality of the comics, but they gutted DC Comics. The comics weren't their priority. Basically, AT&T came in and were just looking to make profits, and just lots of people at Warner Brothers lost their jobs, you know, kind of small-time workers as well. So it's not exactly a company that's covered itself in glory. The day and date thing didn't please the Hollywood community. Stanky and Jason Kilar never were embraced by the Hollywood community because they didn't make an effort. Now, if you remember rightly, and we've discussed this multiple times, as soon as Zaslav and Discovery announced they were merging with Warner Media, Zaslav moved to California, aka Hollywood. And he's been meeting and speaking with, you know, industry experts, people who work within the industry, you know, elite directors. What he's been trying to do is a charm offensive. This is a much better sign that the future of Warner Brothers Discovery is in better hands than what Warner Media has been. Because AT&T are a cable and wireless company. They have no idea about entertainment, and they became obsessed with streaming. And Sarnoff has a history at streaming. And Jason Kilar was at Hulu. So that was their focus, streaming, more than the cinematic model. They kind of felt that streaming was the future and cinema is going to die out. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the case. I think, look, you look at Spider-Man you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, you look at the Batman, and as I say, when people want to go out and watch a movie, they will. But we need an industry who also has a place in cinemas for little movies. Now, Samuel L. Jackson said that directors like Martin Scorsese hate comic book movies and superhero movies because no one wants to see their movies. Now, I don't think that's a very intelligent response. Scorsese and people of his ilk and generation are not happy because there's no space in the audience and the screens for little movies. It's just for the big blockbusters that are going to gross 800 to a billion, 2 billion. It's all about the money now. David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers from the late 80s, 90s, brilliant film, but I'm sure it didn't make a lot of money. That was the time in Hollywood's history where they were making art, but they were also making blockbusters. There was a great variety. So to say that people like Scorsese hate superhero movies and say they're not cinema, they're triggered with what's been happening to the industry. Now, I love comic books and superheroes, but that's all we're getting. And cinema deserves a better variety. And I believe this is what Zaslav and Discovery will bring to Warner Brothers. But they've already said, now this is interesting, by the way, if you don't think that Zaslav and Discovery don't already have an influence at Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers Pictures, right? What was it Zaslav said during the early days when the merger was first announced? That Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman would be their priority. Well, take a look at this, yeah? I know it's not a good picture, I know you can't see it properly, but take a look at that. What does that tell you? We've had the Batman this year. Fair enough, that was greenlit before they were even formed. But this shows you, right? This shows you that their influence is there. And this is going to be their priority. Now, this doesn't mean that smaller heroes won't get represented as well. Because I keep on getting people telling me, Mick, it can't just be about Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. And it shouldn't be. But I don't want to see smaller heroes replacing my man Superman, or my girl Wonder Woman, or my man Batman. Basically, we're in a this or that generation, and you've seen it on TikTok, this or that, and I don't like that. I think there's a space in the live action realm for all superheroes, and not just popular ones that we've never read about as much or seen in movies. There's a space for all of them, and I think that's what we're getting. But Zaslav did say that Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman would be his priority, because ultimately they make the big bucks. Now, this picture in the new DC Comics account, official account, Twitter, and it's probably on all their official social media, means they're hinting. They're there for a reason. Think about it. Henry Cavill is in the header of an official DC Comics account, and we haven't seen him in a theatrically released movie since 2017's The Rise of Justice League. Take a think about that for a minute. So for me, this is exciting, but it's not a hint about the Snyderverse being restored. This is them hinting that both these characters will be in Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Now that gets me really excited. Now, a lot of people keep on asking me, Mick, is Superman in Black Adam? Now, there's been times when I've been thinking, yes, definitely. And there's been times where I've been saying no. If he's not, maybe they're getting their shit together, and maybe Zaslav and Discovery have said, get Cavill in Black Adam as well. This could be another reason for these delays. As I say, there's a multitude of reasons why these delays have happened. I'm starting to believe that they were always going to move these films, and they just shoved them all in 2022 and kind of thought, we'll worry about it later. It kind of makes sense now why there wasn't a real slate for 2023, something I've pointed out on multiple occasions. So maybe they were always going to move The Flash and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom over there. But it's not fair to leave it so late, and I think that's highly unprofessional, and my reaction and many fans' reactions can be understood. But if we get a Flash movie and an Aquaman and Lost Kingdom that's been worked on for so long that it's perfect, and nothing's perfect made by human hands, of course, then I'm happy. I don't want art being rushed. Of course I don't. But I was under the impression, like all of you was, that we was going to actually get 5 DC movies in 1 year. And when you're told, well, you can't get this now. You thought you were getting it, but you're not going to get it now. That's utterly frustrating. So anyway, I think today I'm feeling a lot more positive about the future of the DCEU than I have been, especially now when I saw this header. This gives me hope that we will see Henry Cavill's Superman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in the same film. And I think I was very interested in Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, where there's that bit where Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman are about to touch hands, and there's a little gag there, but also how Wonder Woman reacts when she sees Superman. Kal-El. She gets very starry-eyed, doesn't she? So I would love to see a live-action future between Henry Cavill's Superman and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I'd like to see a romance there, because there's a freaking romance in the source material, and I know a lot of fans would gobble that up. It looks like we have to talk about my dearly beloved Grace Randolph. Don't worry, everyone, we're not dating or anyone. We've never spoke before, apart from on Twitter before she blocked me. But she's been doing her thing. So she's still saying that Henry Cavill's Superman will not be in the Flash movie, but she's now saying that Ben Affleck's Batman will not be killed off in the Flash movie. Who's been telling you that for a very long time? Well, everyone apart from Grace Randolph up until now. But I told you, most probably he won't be killed off. He vanishes, and that will be Barry's the Flash's mission going forward in future media in the DCEU. His mission to find out what happened to his friend and mentor. Now, someone actually told me on my live chat that they were on the internet, and apparently the synopsis for the Flash has changed in the past week or so, where before it is a boy goes back to save his mum's life, and now he's apparently having to save the soul of his mentor. And we're all kind of saying, well, isn't Batfleck his mentor? Or are they talking about Keaton's Batman? Who knows? So anyway, I want to reference this, that she's saying that Cavill's still not in the Flash, and that basically Batfleck isn't killed off. Batfleck was never going to be killed off. She's saying now one of the cuts basically has him not dying. So let's just say there's a cut where he dies and there's a cut where he doesn't. They could still use the cut where he dies, or they could still use the cut where he doesn't die. It's all very safe for Grace Randolph, because by the time we see this movie in June, no one's going to remember the bullshit she's been uttering. It's so clever, and she gets some attention. And I think her tweet was, oh, you crazy Snyder fans, you never give up, do you? And I'm giving you some good news, blah, blah, blah. This is not really that interesting to me or exciting, because this is what I thought it was going to play out with anyway. So anyway, you shouldn't really listen to her, because sometimes she's right, sometimes she's wrong. I think she's right here because this is obvious and we all knew this anyway. And so be very careful when trusting Grace Randolph. Now, apparently Ben Affleck is open to doing more. Most probably because there's new leadership coming. Maybe they're open to him doing more. Listen, until Zaslav and Discovery get their feet under the table for 6 months, we're not going to know what their plans are or what the future holds. Ray Porter is one of the best voice actors in the business, and he played Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he's been talking about the Snyderverse fandom. Justice League's Darkseid actor talks future Zack Snyder DCEU movies. Ray Porter, who plays Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League, reveals that he's still holding out hope that the Snyderverse will be restored by Ryan Northrop of Screen Rant. Zack Snyder's Justice League Darkseid actor Ray Porter reveals that he's hopeful for more Snyderverse DC movies. Upon its release in 2017, Justice League was met with mostly negative reviews from both fans and critics. The project was originally supposed to be directed by Snyder, but Joss Whedon took over after Snyder had to step away due to a family tragedy and due to him being pressured and battling the studio. They didn't put that in. Substantial cuts and reshoots ultimately veered the film far away from what Snyder had planned, and the director's fans quickly organised a massive campaign to release the Snyder Cut. Despite being told that such a cut didn't exist, Pleas to restore the Snyderverse's original vision eventually worked. Snyder was given a hefty sum of $70 million to complete his version of the film, which would eventually release on HBO Max as Zack Snyder's Justice League. In March of 2021, the film is generally regarded as a substantial step up from the original and prompted fans to demand that Warner Brothers restore the Snyderverse and let the director continue the saga that began with 2013's Man of Steel. Zack Snyder's Justice League stars Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, Amy Adams, and after being cut from Whedon's Justice League, Porter as villain Darkseid. In an interview with CBR, Porter explains that he has hope the Snyderverse will continue with future films, citing the tenacious nature of the fandom and what they were able to accomplish with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Porter says there's always hope. He also acknowledges, however, that there are a number of challenges with continuing the Snyderverse. A lot of moving parts would have to shift into place for it to occur. Check out Porter's full comments below. There's always hope. I don't know anything about it, and I think a lot of moving parts would have to shift into place for it to occur, but that's way above my pay grade. I do know that this fandom, if they desire something enough, can move mountains. I believe in the fans, and I have hope. Thank you, Ray. You have always been a gentleman to all of us, and we really respect you. And sometimes you do have to slap us back when we're acting ungentlemanly or things like that, and that's quite right too. Not long after the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Warner Brothers CEO and Sarnoff dashed hope for any continuation of the Snyderverse, citing that the film marked the conclusion of Snyder's trilogy of DC films. Despite Sarnoff's comments and the fact that there appear to be no plans or discussions of any kind by Warner Brothers to restore the Snyderverse, fans continue to hold out hope. Porter isn't the only Justice League actor to support the movement, with Fisher and Joe Manganiello, who appears briefly as Deathstroke, also voicing support to see Snyder's release his DC franchise vision. And it's interesting that Joe Manganiello keeps on putting different Snyder Cut Deathstroke pictures on his Instagram wallpaper as well. That's very, very curious. There's something going on. While Zack Snyder's Justice League is a far better version of the film than Whedon's original, it seems unlikely that the Snyderverse will ever be restored. I couldn't disagree less. With Warner Brothers seeming to want to put the entire release of the Snyder Cut situation firmly behind them. Snyder himself having moved onto numerous other big franchise projects and the massive success of Matt Reeves' The Batman, it looks like Zack Snyder's Justice League will indeed serve as the conclusion, no you're wrong, to Snyder's DC Universe. That being said, the Snyder fandom already made the impossible happen with the Snyder Cut, so perhaps Porter is right to hold out hope that the Snyderverse will one day be restored. I believe in my heart, and I work from my heart. Not because it pumps my blood, but that's how I live my life. And in my heart, I believe that Zaslav and Discovery eventually will restore the Snyderverse. And I don't want you thinking as soon as this takeover happens, things are going to happen straight away. They may do, but it's unlikely. I believe that Zaslav and Discovery will want to feel their feet, evaluate what's happening at that shit show of a studio, and then make their decisions. But I believe in my heart that this will happen. So always keep the faith. And Zach still wants this. All the actors still want this. So keep on fighting. That's my best piece of advice I can give you. Here's your the Batman update, should I say. The Batman 23 images show Riddler's plans in detail. The Batman's promotional website, ratalada.com, which was highlighted during the film's credits, shares 23 images of the Riddler's plans by Josh Planisi of Screen Rant. The Batman's promotional website, ratalada.com, which was further highlighted during the film's credits, has shared 23 images showing the Riddler's plans in detail, inspired by comics like Batman Year One. Matt Reeves' reboot focuses on Bruce Wayne's Robert Pattinson's second year as Gotham City's vigilante, on top of John Turturro's Carmine Falcone and Colin Farrell's Oswald Cobblepot Penguin. The Batman's main antagonist is Paul Dano's Edward Nashton, the Riddler, a serial killer in the vein of the Zodiac, targeting Gotham's corrupt elite. The film noir mystery begins with the murder of Mayor Don Mitchell, a card left specifically for Batman, and no more lies written on Mitchell's duct tape face. A website containing the URL Ratalada, which translates to winged rat, and a series of puzzles inspired by the Riddler, was first discovered late last year. Leading up to the release of the Batman, fans could interact with the website's riddles and receive rewards for solving them, including a video for Thomas Wayne's Luke Roberts' mayoral campaign, edited over with foreboding phrases such as hush, hinting at secrets within the Wayne family, connections to Gotham's corruption, and perhaps referencing another iconic villain. The aforementioned URL flashes after the Batman's credits, leading fans back to the website and allowing them to solve more puzzles using Riddler's code cipher. Following the film's theatrical release, the website was updated with a loading screen slowly counting towards 100%. The ARG countdown on ratalada.com has finally reached its conclusion. Initially, the website read, "You've come this far, let's see if you're willing to discover more. While you unmask everything that has yet to be revealed, I'm safe here with my new friend. We will see you soon." Wow, he's obviously talking about the fucking Joker. "We will see you soon." The site also revealed a link zip folder containing 23 images of the Riddler's research and on plans found in his apartment and seen throughout the film, along with more coded messages. Check them out below. So there's no good me showing you this because it won't show up, but yeah, there's lots of good stuff you saw in the movie. Really cool. Check them out on Screen Rant. I'm sure you can find them somewhere on the internet. There's this great headline: Gotham City DA talks hard stance on crime bosses, battle for the city. Wow, really cool. Lots of stuff here, loads. Diagrams. Wow, this is amazing. The detail of Matt Reeves' work is just something special. Near the end of the Batman, the Cape Crusader James Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, and the Gotham authorities apprehended Falcone, the winged rat, at the Iceberg Lounge Club when he's brought into the light. Riddler shoots Falcone from his apartment before turning himself in at a nearby dinner. Riddler is then taken to Arkham Asylum, where he makes a new friend in Barry Coogan's Joker. The Joker website has since been updated again with the message, "You did so well, and you know," and the link to a coded image. Decoded, the image states, "Gotham loves a comeback." So this is all very exciting and smart by Matt Reeves. The Batman had DC's highest grossing opening weekend at the box office since 2016's Suicide Squad. Do they mean opening? Because Joker made $1 billion? What are you talking about? The film has been a hit with critics and audiences alike, with an 85% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience score. Warner Brothers DC Films is already moving forward with Penguin and Arkham Asylum spin-offs on HBO Max, and a sequel to the down my throat, and the sequel to the flagship film is all but confirmed. Whether that film features the return of the Riddler, Joker, Hush, or another member of DC's Rogues Gallery remains to be seen. What Matt Reeves has done with this website is very, very clever. As I said the other day, this is much smarter than a post-credit scene because you can keep on getting more things from it. And I don't know if something else is going to download to 100%. We have to wait and see. I'm here with my new friend, and we'll be back or something along those lines. This is basically saying we'll be back in the spin-off or in the sequel. So Joker will be there. I know what Matt said. Joker and Riddler will be back. Facts. And this whole thing about the world loves a comeback, right? So this is very exciting for the fans. I know you wanted a kind of a deleted scene or something else, but I think this is just as exciting. And finally today I want to talk about the competition we have with Marvel. It's always been there between DC Comics and Marvel Comics, and they feel they have a victory with this longevity of a franchise that Kevin Feige has run so successfully in terms financially. Financially, it's popular. The kids, the mainstream audience love it, right? It works. It makes money. But you see, I can't enjoy box office. The money's not mine. I don't get a profit for what Marvel do or what DC do. I always want DC to make loads of money so they make more of what they've just made. That's the way business works, right? That's the only reason I care about box office, but I care about great movies a lot more. And there aren't many great movies in Marvel live action. There's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, Bryan Singer's X-Men and X-Men 2. There's James Mangold's Logan. They're all very good films. And then you go to the MCU, and I think about all the films, and I did enjoy Captain America, the First Avenger, and Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And Civil War's okay, and there's a few there. But ultimately, there isn't many really, really good Marvel movies. Now, I'm going to take my biased hat off. Actually, it's always on, so I can't. It's stuck on my head even though you can't see it. But anyway, DC has much better movies than Marvel does. So people can boast about box office and they can shield Sean Levi directing Deadpool, but ultimately I couldn't give a shit about box office and chanting idiots. I care about the fact that in my collection we have great movies like Superman and Superman 2 and Batman 89 and Batman Returns and Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises and Joker, Man of Steel, BVS, all these films, right? Just great. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Marvel will never make a film that's 4 hours long. That's so amazing. So we have so many films, and there's probably films I haven't even mentioned in DC live action. And there's the ones that are not really seen as great, but you can go back and enjoy them anyway. I'm very proud what we've got in DC. Aquaman is a stunning visual masterpiece and very emotional. There's lots of great DC movies, and I could sit here talking to you about what Superman the movie has meant for the industry and how it changed the industry, a pop culture icon about a pop culture icon, and maybe we'll do a video about that. Superman 2, despite its production problems, is a really good sequel. And then, obviously, we've got all the other stuff. Batman 89 is groundbreaking. Batman Returns is a great sequel. And we go on and on. What I'm saying to you is, if you're a DC fan and you envy what Marvel have, I think you're missing out on the great stuff we've had in DC live action. And that's not even talking about the groundbreaking Smallville that changed how television superhero shows were made. A very amazing, revolutionary show. DC live action has so much to be proud of. So instead of looking over the fence at Marvel and wishing you had Kevin Feige, how about just saying, you know what, we've got stuff to be proud of too. This has been Movies TV Mad and Saturday's edition of the DCEU Daily. You are very welcome. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Is the notification bell actually there or there or there? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss this perfection. And I'll see you again later on. Until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. See you again soon. I'm parched. I need a cup of tea. All right.